Greetings, 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 family, greetings, family, greetings, family, greetings, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a special episode today. Let me give myself a round of applause just to get these two brothers together. It's going to be immaculate. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be beautiful. I hope everybody's ready. I hope everybody is 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 ready for this one. I hope everybody is ready. First and foremost, got to take care of some of the business in here. Got to take care of some of the business. I hope everybody can hear me. How y'all doing, family? Yes, I'm back in Georgia right now. Ready. Big up to New Diamonds, one of my moderators in the building. Yes, moderator, make sure you look out for the trolls. We're not allowing any trolls in the building. We want to be respectful to our elder and our young soldier that's coming up in this business. And this is the journey of the torchbearers that's coming up. So I'll be bringing them up in the next few minutes. Man, woo. Man, I am so happy that I got these two brothers coming up to just share some wisdom publicly first, and then we're going to also have a private one. So make sure y'all join my membership at King Simon Presents right here on YouTube, or join the membership on also Patreon. Okay, make sure y'all join the membership because we do have different links. We do have different links for both of them. We got two different links. So at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will cut off this link and come back up in the private link after that. So those who want to be a part of that, y'all got to join me. And that's a Q&A session right there. That's going to be the Q&A. Those who want to come up and actually ask the questions of Brother Bdell and Brother Dr. Valentine, one of our elders, our esteemed elders. Let me share the Patreon with those that want to get the Patreon. Just in case y'all want to go on my Patreon, let me share that Patreon in the chat right now. We're going to be bringing them up in the next 2 minutes. Next 2 minutes, we'll be bringing them on. Let me put it in the chat. I see everybody's in the chat. All right, we're going to be powerful today. So that is the Patreon. That's my Patreon right there. Those who want to join the Patreon right now for the private, exclusive conversation at 10 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. I'm sorry, at 9 o'clock from 9 to 10. That'll be the Q&A session. All right. Just want to let everybody know we're doing what we got to do to make it happen. So make sure y'all be a part of it. Just want to remind everybody, this coming Wednesday, I will be interviewing the one, the only Professor James Smalls, Misunderstanding and Healing Through It Spiritually and Physically. And he'll be right here on my channel. And don't forget, he will be at Nicholas, Brooklyn before he heads to Ghana. He'll be at Nicholas, Brooklyn. One of our elders, our esteemed elders, will be in Ghana, going to Ghana, but he will be with us at Nicholas, Brooklyn. Get your tickets right now at, of course, Linktr.ee /King Simon, the numerovator. If you want to get that link, I'm going to put the tickets right now, to put the tickets in the link right now. Moderators can copy and share. Moderators can copy and share. Let y'all know all my moderators can copy and share if they want, constantly if they want. And when it comes to the Linktree links and all that, okay, it's for the tickets. So y'all more than likely can do that. All right, it is now 8 o'clock and I'm getting ready to bring our two brothers on right now, but let me put this link in there right now. Big up to everybody that's coming in on Instagram. Pick up to everybody. Those who want the tickets to see Professor James Smalls, go to my Linktree /King Simon, the numerovator. It's in the chat right now. It's in the chat. As a matter of fact, let me pin it to the top of the chat. Those who want to get those tickets. Big up to Sister Kafunya. She'll be opening up for Professor James Smalls, Felicia Harden, and Joshua Sarah. So, without any further ado, man, this is going to be a rough one, but it's going to be a fun one. The two brothers that I have coming up is not only have been torch bearers in their own right. Definitely Dr. Valentine would also explain that to you. The importance, the journey of a torch bearer, because he was also a young soldier when the elders was doing their thing. And we have another brother named Brother Bdell, who's also bearing a torch right now as a youngster in his 30s, and Dr. Valentine's in his 70s. So I want these brothers to have a real conversation for the first time ever. So please, 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 family, please like, subscribe, and share. And of course, donate to the channel if you appreciate what I'm about to do. The donation button is right there scrolling on the bottom, but I will also share it in the chat just in case you want to donate to any one of my platforms to keep the lights on, like Brother Panic used to say. Big up to Brother Panic, the late, great Brother Panic. Like Brother Panic used to say, to keep the lights on. You know how we do. Of course, it's in the chat right now, just in case you want to donate. But these two brothers I'm about to bring up right now are ready, willing, and of course, born in the same month. So this is interesting. Born under the same zodiac, both of these brothers. So this is going to be interesting right now. Let me bring on the elder first. And of course, let me bring on the elder first and then bring on both of them at the same time. Let's welcome on my stage my brothers, my brothers, my brothers. The one, the only Dr. Phil Valentine and what's up, family?
Peace, brother. How you guys doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Dr. Valentine, how you doing, sir? I can't hear you. You're mute. You're mute. Let me see. I know I didn't mute you. Oh, there you go.
I said I'm well, beloved, and yourself.
I'm wonderful, wonderful, brother. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm glad to introduce you two for the first time, I believe. I don't know if y'all was on the same stage with brother Rich before. Was y'all ever on the same channel at the same with Brother Rich?
No, sir.
Okay,
no.
This is Brother Bdell, Dr. Valentine. Dr. Valentine, this is Brother Bdell. Brother Bdell, this is Dr. Valentine, as you know who he is already. And he know, I think this is the first time meeting him, right? Actually being on the stage with him.
Yes, sir.
You know, the topic today, and I want to make sure we are all clear on the topic. The topic today is the journey of the torchbearer. And Dr. Valentine used to speak very much about passing on the torch, especially from the metaphysical perspective. And this young man has been doing a lot of work, brother. He just wrote his new book, as you have your book here. Of course, I gotta show Dr. Valentine's book. Let me put Dr. Valentine's book up in the front. You know, I gotta show his book all the time. This is my beloved elder whom I've known since the 80s. His book is called The Wounded Womb. Big up to Dr. Valentine. And this, and of course, I gotta big up my brother, the one, the only, Brother Bdell, the sacred book of the chosen. I got to big y'all up for that because both of y'all are authors in your own right. You just releasing your book, my brother. Let me give that a round of applause again for both of y'all. So I'm proud of both of you, put it like that. And first and foremost, Bdell, I'm gonna ask you as the young soldier, the young warrior. When did you hear about Dr. Valentine? Because I know you've been hearing about Dr. Valentine since you was young. Mm-hmm. When did you hear about that?
It was kind of one of those things where it was on my own independent journey. I first came across, the great majority of his work across YouTube. I used to watch, a lot of Brother Rich's, a lot of his metaphysical work when he was talking about breaking down a multitude of things as far as like theology and historical context. So a lot of the inception of running into Dr. Phil Valentine's work came from Brother Rich's channel and coming across a lot of his works on YouTube as well. And I think I come across a few of his works during the Blog Talk Radio days as well.
Okay, that's right. Brother Bdell, anybody wants Brother Bdell's link is right here. Got his YouTube, got his IG, got his Cash App. Also, Dr. Valentine, my brother. How are you, sir? First and foremost, I'm so happy that I've known you for so many years, man, and watched you do what you had to do from when you didn't have gray hair to now we got grays. Grays are coming. You used to talk. I know you don't know the brother personally, and I know. From back in the day, you used to talk about torchbearers and people passing on the torch, even at one of the events that I did at St. Francis College. I was going to play that, and I said, now, I got no time to be playing that. But why is it so important from your perspective that the torch is passed down from one generation to the other, as far as when it comes to this knowledge, this wisdom that Dr. Delbert Blair, you, Bobby Hemmett, and many others have passed down? Why is it so important to pass that torch down, my brother?
Well, if I can use metaphor,
Yes.
If you look at life, especially as above, so below,
Mm-hmm.
as below, so above, uh, life is a movement, it's a circulation of consciousness from
Mm-hmm.
one level to the next, one degree to the next, one dimension to the next. So it's only uh, scientifically, spiritually, metaphysically, and wholesomely uh, perfected that when we as elders have reached the point where the journey physically uh, is a little bit more difficult to keep climbing up that particular precipice in order to keep the information flowing as life flows in the body, to keep it alive, you have to be able to pass it on. And it's necessary for what you have learned to pass on because what you are is nothing more than in a spiritual and psychological, psychospiritual, cosmological relay race.
Mm.
And just as in a relay race, you must pass that baton to the next in order for victory to happen.
Right.
I believe that our upward and our trials and our tribulations, as far as passing the torch, is that relaying of consciousness, of higher levels of consciousness, ever more. My brother here will see it far more
Mm.
of what the end result of the works that came before me, the works that were handed to me, and the works that I'm handing off to him. You will see far more of where that knowledge and where that particular process went or will be ending up after I'm gone.
Yes. Yes.
So, what we know is we are the ones who uh, must do with what we have. In fact, what we have is of great responsibility.
Mm.
It is a lack of responsibility, a lack of metaphysical ethics for you to hold on to information
Mm.
that you have been given the light. You're supposed to pass that forward, or else you get destroyed by it. You
Yes.
cannot hold on to it. It doesn't belong to you.
Yes. Yes.
So once you understand that, then you become selfless. You become more empathetic to the void that humanity operates in, and you do your best to fill that void, to make sure that that void does not does not delay or suck us into a place of complacency and entropy. And
Mm.
this good brother here, doing what he does, he has been responsible. He has been called. He's fulfilling his contract.
Mm.
That contract was something that he brought with him from the time his mother and father came together to create him in the womb. You came with that particular that message. You came with that particular, how do I say it? You came with the mandate.
Right. Right.
There's no way. I mean, you're going to suffer if you don't do what you do. And I
Right.
found that out. If I did not do this, I mean, I went to everything. I'm an artist. I was supposed to go to a scholarship for school. That failed, and I went on. I was supposed to be a musician. I went into that, went successfully partly, but all the while I was reading, doing all the work that came into to what I am today, and didn't even notice what it was I was actually contracted to do. So everything I did that put me right there at the edge of success failed until I began doing this. So nature, everything told me that your contract had to be fulfilled. And if you didn't do your contract, you'll be punished, you'll suffer. And every time
Mm.
I did my contract, I was blessed, I was given all the things I needed to live a life, to have a family, to forward and do what was necessary. So
Mm.
I think, brother, if you understand anything about this, this is a calling. It's not a job. This is something that you suffer your life to give up for in order for you to be prosperous. And
Mm.
you are going to be prosperous because of what the fact that you are adhering to your contract.
You
And I'm
and,
happy for you.
and and Baba, and thank you very much for that breakdown because very eloquently, of course. Let me give that a round of applause. Very eloquently, because being a choice, and I'm going to come to you, Bdell, because I know my perspective. I've been a torchbearer because of Lloyd Strayhorn and carrying that torch from dealing with numbers and all of that, but also being in an organization and proving myself since I was 14 in different organizations, whether I jump from one or another just to keep on extending in my knowledge and growing in my knowledge. Brother Bdell, I want to ask you, as a young brother coming up, watching these elders, watching, people that you've also, quoted in your book and all that, of course, Dr. Malachi Z. York, various other people that you've acknowledged and seen over the years. What do you feel a torchbearer is? Because back in the day when I was in the Ansar Allah community, I've never been a Nuwapian per se, but when I was in the Ansar Allah community, Doc or Imam Isa spoke about being passed the torch from Sheikh Dawood back in the day. Those who remember State Street, those Muslims that go back then, Sheikh Dawood, and in Islam and that Islamic portion of what he taught, and how important it is to pass that torch. I've seen Muhammad Ali run with a torch, walk with the torch, because he was also passing torches from one generation to another. From your perspective, Brother Bdell, what does it mean to be a bearer of the torch, and what responsibilities do you feel you have to bear? It's a lot. Believe me, it's a lot, because it comes with relationship issues. It comes with a whole lot of bull crap. It comes with people coming at you from all angles. It becomes a popularity thing, but you got to be able to hold your own and hold your ground and stay balanced in these times. How do you feel about that torchbearer and the word torchbearers, or the journey of the torchbearer from your perspective, brother?
Well, a torchbearer, they understand that the simulation in itself operates on the speculum of a cycle. So when you're able to understand cycles, you understand that there's a culmination process that leads up to something, meaning that there's a beginning and there's an end to something. So as far as like the elders and being able to transmutate information and being able, for the young to give the edification out to those who's, stuck in darkness. So it's one of those things where to understand that when you go through cycles, as far as like, the simulation in itself, you have a rebirth, you have an unraveling, and then you have a crisis. And we at the apex of a time of what they call the tribulation period. So that's why you see the great majority of all the industries and these, the corporate infrastructure, everything is starting to crumble. So that is cultivated by the Piscean age of darkness that was, entrapped by, the Alpha Draconis star system when you understand the precessional circle. So now we're going through a shifting process. So when you go through that shift, that's when the elders, they pass the torch. Those is going to, carry over to the next timeline as far as like, giving intrinsic information to the masses to where they can, tap into their own godhood and their own spiritual journey as well. But the responsibility in itself, just like, Baba Phillip Valentine, was basically extrapolating. He was, it's one of those things where, the three-dimensional world would trick you out of your purpose. They would trick you into believing that you're supposed to be playing basketball. You're supposed to be being a musician. Because one thing, when it comes to so-called Black people, we're the only demographic of people that, we marginalize ourselves to many different things that, that we're not able to, process over the course of time. Like, cause it's not our purpose to be, playing sports and all this other stuff. A lot of our purpose is to be, we're supposed to be tapping into being healers, true speakers, passing down information, to, our bloodlines in order to reverse the polarity of what's taking place, of what's going on. So like I said, it comes with a high intrinsic responsibility, because we're on this planet to combat the generational curses, because the only reason you're supposed to be in this three-dimensional apparatus is to evolve. Everything is supposed to be the apex of evolution. If you're not evolving, you're operating from a stagnant energy of death. So that's why I was saying, like, it's one of those times where, the elders have to pass down the edification in order for us to, get through this great awakening period.
Okay. Let's give that a round of applause also. I'm gonna give that, don't worry about, I won't be giving a round of applause all the time, but I just have to give that a round of applause as an answer. I want to make sure everybody knows Dr. Valentine's links. I got all of his links right here. Hold on one second. Let me make sure that his links, because that's my brother, and you know how we support our elders at any given time. Remember, make sure you hit him up at uksnow.org. His PayPal is kemitearth@gmail, and friends and family. 800 number, of course, is 847-1291, and his Zelle is sanu777@gmail. And if you want anything with Juice Plus, that's valentine1.juiceplus.com. That's valentine1.juiceplus.com. Dr. Valentine, man, let me tell you something, bro. Tears has come to our eyes numerous times privately. I know you've gone through your stuff back in your day, you know, because you was married to Queen of Four. You've married before that, and then, of course, remarried and got married to Dr. Nalani that you're still with. Relationships, sir. Oh, man, relationship in the community, man. I can admit that I have trust issues for a lot of people, because you don't know, unless I'm going back into time to somebody that I do trust. It's hard to try to trust some of these new people or new women that you want to deal with, and vice versa, women trying to trust men as far as to keep things in alignment, especially in the spiritual community, and even sometimes the religious community. How have you, through the relationships that you've been through to this time, I think you're going on 30 years with Dr. Nalani, right? Is that correct?
33.
33 years. Wow, third master number. Well, I want to give that a round of applause, but I want to calm down on the round of applause. How have you maintained a long-term relationship, being who you are and being who she is, doing what she does and you do, and maintaining that spiritual balance with each other? And to all brothers and sisters that want to be in a relationship, that feel that it's important to have your netta hemp, so to speak, that other side, how important was it for you to maintain balance in your relationship? And also, Bdell is in a relationship also. Please talk about that for the elder to talk about, tell the young people how to do that and how to maintain it.
Well, first of all, in this day and age, you have to be very fortunate to find a woman, old school,
yes, sir,
who understands that she is the secondary authority, not the primary one. And we've lost that, because that was part of the companionship and the compatibility model that ran our success model for the last 200 or 300 years, right. Until such time as the Khazarian Mafia, the Cabal, incorporated themselves into our community, bought off our leadership, and created this schism that began to destroy the trust element necessary for each person, each part of a community, and each part of a family to play their role.
Yes.
Our sisters were convinced at that time to lose the trust that they had in us. And me speaking to this particular fact is very, very, very hard for sisters today, young sisters today, to understand that type of compatibility, that type of relationship dynamic that worked in the past, that kept us together, that grew communities and families. They did everything they could to undermine the success of the so-called black man by destroying everything he built up for his woman and his family. Over 150 towns and cities that he was responsible for helping to build up, to become autonomous, to become prosperous with him and his family, were destroyed by racists. And so every time you look around for generational wealth, everything about us was stolen. Everything that we had was stolen. The generational wealth is what men accumulate, what women regulate and pass on. But when they destroyed the ability for the man to do what his divine purpose was, and then you begin to seed the atmosphere with people like Oprah and the rest of the feminists, they began to convince our sisters, young ones, who are going to college, and that their pursuit of a career, the etymology of the word career, of course, meaning combat, the go into combat where men are, to go in and take over what men do, and therefore subsume and undermine the ability for men to create families, because it's men that create families, not women. Those who are dealing with the destruction of people know the role of the man, that he is the primary authority. So in Sun Tzu, they learn that you must attack the primary authority if you want to undermine an enemy that is greater and much stronger than you are, spiritually, psychologically, even militarily. You must undermine and create the necessary distrust in everyone that is beholding to that type of faithfulness in and trust in the primary authority. Destroy the primary authority and make him believe that he is no longer, create the society where he is no longer in charge of his family, of his community, and then elevate the woman by putting money into her education, putting money aside so that she can start her own business, buying out the fact that she is now in time. I keep telling our sisters, what Mother Nature gives you between the ages of 19 and 25, Father Time takes after 25 to 30. And so they think that they have all this time that we do, but men essentially don't really start doing anything to bring themselves to a place of worth. And we knew that until after they have gotten into 25 to 30 years of age. So when they adopted the male, the males, the way that men come into their own, women began to think that they could delay the way men do and catch up with everything by the time they reach 25 and 30 years of age. Didn't work. They fooled 5 generations of our sisters. And now we see that this so-called loneliness epidemic nonsense. We see a lot of our sisters out there thinking that, burying themselves and making themselves look like whores, dressing like whores is somehow liberating. And the men today, young men today, are withdrawing from that situation. And so, relationships have become so toxic, both in the males and the females, with the females themselves actually creating the conditions where men no longer can exercise their primary authority because there's no trust in them. The society tells them that they're dusty, they don't have enough money, they're not 6 feet tall, they're not all these ridiculous prerequisites before a woman can see the worth of a man. So my wife, the women that I have been before, I love them dearly, love what they were to me, love what they gave to me, love what we were together. But to me, and I'm not dispersing anyone, this woman, Dr. Lalani, was the super feminine that I remember that my mother was until she became more feminized. And I remember what it looked like when women submitted. And when she understood, even with my homelessness, that I was going to be much better and much more successful, I said, okay, this is the one that I'm going to ride and die with. And so when I tried to ride and die with the previous, didn't work because that distrust was there. They were coming up in that time when Oprah and the rest of those females were the ones going out there seeding discord and distrust in men. I met my final wife after all of that proved to be destructive and toxic, and she saw it and knew it. And so we are a partnership. We're a seriously tight team. And I say to the brothers, hold off. Get your so-called bags, like you kids say. Grow yourself as a man. Take no crap. Take no BS. And make sure that when you're hunting for a wife, you're not looking at all of the makeup and all the crap that they put on to try to fool you into believing that somehow they have the virtue necessary for you to commit yourself. You have to be very careful. And sisters, it's time you understand what it takes to be a virtuous woman and what it is that men are truly looking for, because you don't study men. You're not supposed to. They told you don't worry about men. Men are this, men are this. They tell us to study you, though, to make you happy, to make sure that everything, your whims and your wiles and everything is making sure we cater to you, and that's it. But no, you don't ever study what a man needs. Because today you feel it's not necessary. You are the prize. But then why are you on the air constantly crying and moaning about where all the men at, where all the good men at? Well, you passed them up. So I'm saying to you, find somebody like I found, and hopefully luck up in this day and age because the pickings are not out there. Sorry, I'm ranting.
No, Valentine, Doc, I don't mind you ranting, sir. Me and you go back. Bdell, I'm going to ask you a similar question, but I'm going to rephrase it because you're younger. You're the youngest of us, and I love the youth because I'm still in between the two, and I'm still climbing trees that some of these youth can't climb like I do. So so I'm having fun. What is relationship to you now, Bdell? Because this is a new era, and you know that. You're in your 30s, right? And when I was in my 30s, Lord have mercy, I had Dr. Valentine. I had, I was married. As a matter of fact, I was married in the Nation of Islam and all of that. Relationship, what is it to you now? What do you see, and how are you maintaining your relationship with, of course, your beautiful Zola? Big up to her. She shouted me out in the private back in the day. Big up to her, and I said, and her birthday's coming up. Big up to her. And what is it? Let me reframe it. Hold on. Let me take a deep breath. What is relationship to Bdell now? After you see what's going on in social media, everything is a quick fix. Everybody, sometimes the spiritual woman, if you smell wrong, they ready to get rid of you. They think it's a red flag, even if you say the wrong word and whatever. Everything is the spiritual and sometimes the religious community under this new paradigm of social media has become overly sensitive and has destroyed their own relationship just by one red flag or this little thing or that. They're not willing to work through it no more. What do you feel is either the highlights of relationship or the down sliding of relationship today, Brother Bdell?
Well, I think the inception of the problem is that Eurocentric Westernized culture has created an apparatus to the point where it pulls on the woman's energy, which makes her energetically out of balance. So it was one of those things where, in order to maintain a relationship in modern day times, everything has to be cultivated by balance, meaning that you have to mirror what's taking place as far as like you have to correspond with the planets by way of the law of correspondence. So like I said, we're going through a shifting process. We're no longer under the Piscean age of darkness. So that means that this methodology of the rise of the matriarch, this is what we're going into. So it was one of those things, a matriarch is not where the woman is above the man, it's where the man and the woman both works in synergy like a machine in a factory. You the machine and she's the oil. It doesn't mean that, the man is above the woman. That's a patriarchal standpoint that they created that's connected to their corporations, which is why, their systems of control has the ability to feed off, our dysfunction, such as economic disenfranchisement, capitalism, classism. Because now, just like Phillip Valentine said, now women created these illusionary constructs where you got to be 6 feet or you got to be making 100K, 200K. All these things is nothing but systems of control that keeps women under the sleep spell of King Goo, the sleep spell of the subconscious mind that pulls on, their frequency. So that's why I was saying it's one of those things where the man and the woman, they have to come back into balance. So this is where we get into the beginning points where the so-called Black woman, she has to understand that this demonstrative government was set up to, deviate the man and the woman, together. Even when you look at the whole, the rap industry, the only reason why they propagate sexual gratification is basically another way to, give off this illusionary construct that the woman is above the man, and only if he doesn't have an amount of money to, spend, for cater to her, whatever the stuff she likes on a materialistic level. This is why they use, Meg Thee Stallion and Sexy Red. They use them as negative catalysts to basically overthrow the frequency of the balancement of the man and the woman. Because the man and the woman together, it creates a tachyon energy. That's when you get into the metaphysical symmetry of light. When you come together, that is what creates the macabre, the man and the woman together. They showed you in the movie Matrix. That's what creates the Trinity principle, the resurrection process that causes a reset on the planet, because the man and the woman together is a process of 0-point energy. That's what causes the reset, the balance of the man and the woman, not the woman being above the man and the man being above the woman. So if you want to have, if you want to manifest a healthy relationship, mirror the stars. You see what's taking place on the planet. You see what's taking place in governments. You see what's taking place on an astrological level. Make that the mirroring effect on how to be the glitch in the matrix, where you cause interface transitions. So that's why I said we're in a time period to create. And the only way to create is by way of a Trinity principle. Even though you live in a dualistic paradox, but you can only create with a Trinity principle. And that can only be with a man and a woman.
Okay, and that's how you feel about relationship nowadays.
Yes. Yeah. Relationships nowadays, the only reason why they last for about 30 minutes is because of like instant gratification. Instant gratification is actually the devil. So you got to find you somebody that you got to be able to build with. You got to have a silent grind for a loud success. So you got to find somebody to where you can do, have a lot of self-affirming practices to where y'all can grow mentally, physically, and spiritually and financially, because it's going to open up a gateway. Right. Because the woman, she's the metaphysical key, because it's the woman in itself is where she's going to give an intrinsic energy to the man to where she's going to make him tap into his purpose. And once he taps into his purpose becomes her protection. So that's why I said the man and the woman together, they have to work in synergy. It's a form of balance.
Okay. All right. I like that. I know Dr. Valentine. I go back with Dr. Valentine for many years, many moons. And Dr. Valentine, I want to ask you a particular question. It's now 33 minutes after the hour, family. I want to just remind everybody, please support Bdell, of course. Also, I put this in the chat. I'm gonna I put everything in the chat. Here's also to his book. I got the Amazon link to his book also to make sure y'all support the brother's book. It was a #1 seller on Amazon. Big up to him. And before I go to Dr. Valentine, hold on, let me throw myself up in the front because let me just show, make sure I share his link in the chat and share Dr. Valentine's link. Thank y'all for everybody that's on here on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Thank y'all very much. And of course, Bdell's link is in, and let me grab Dr. Valentine's link and throw it in the chat also, so you can go. His books is sold through his website on through Lulu. So make sure y'all support Baba Valentine's book, The Wounded Wound, and he's working on another book that's coming out very soon. And also, you'll find his wife's book on the YouTube on his website also. So make sure you support his wife, beautiful Dr. Nalani's book also. So everybody's links are in the chat right now. Dr. Valentine, I've been battling with these two words for a long time. Staying with relationships, sir. I've been battling with these two words, matriarchal and patriarchal. It's not even our words. It's European, if we're real about it. And I know the Europeans or the Greeks and the freaks and the Romans studied what they studied before, where ma and pa is in front of those two words, ma, mother, and pa. But Dr. Valentine, from your studies over the years, where did these words matriarch and patriarch come from, my brother? Is he frozen?
Yeah, I think he.
Doctor, you was frozen for a second. You hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
Where does the word patriarchal and matriarchal come from, sir? Where does this all stem from?
Well, you started off correctly in the prefix of pa and ma,
right?
But the secret is in the suffix archy. So when you're dealing with patriarchy and matriarchy, you're dealing with a languaging system of people who deal with dominance, period. So there's no middle ground. When you're a matriarchy, it means as an arc, you are over everything. So there's no patriarchy or matriarchy, as you said, in our whole reality, because we never saw one greater than the other. That's why the Nasu, who they call the Pharaoh, sat on the throne, which was basically representative of Ast or Isis.
Woman, right.
And you see that, and if you look at Ast, she has a chair on her head. That chair represents Geb, as well as she being the one who administers all things that are material. But everything that is invisible is masculine, which is why the feminists used the picture of Heru nursing at the bosom of Ast as a feminist saying that, woman is God. Woman is God. Yes, woman is God to an infant who's just born. Those breasts, essentially, and that warmth that the mother gives, that child sees that mother as God. But then if you take it in a metaphysical perspective, you look at the fact that people who are undeveloped in their metaphysical mind would think that God is a woman because that's where they are. They're undeveloped psychologically and metaphysically. The masculine principle is invisible, and that takes time for the child to come into the understanding of the masculine principle. The masculine principle is what allows that love and that realization to grow between the mother and the child, because the masculine principle is the provider, protector, and the producer. We forget that part of it. And so what we have forgotten is that there is a compatibility. There is a yin and the yang. None is greater than the other. The woman essentially is been told to abdicate her throne. And that's what I say at the end if you read My Wounded Womb. I asked her to come back and assume the throne once again, because you have abdicated it, left it, and tried to come and conquer in a world that you have no business in, and that is the masculine world. You've done some good work, but at the end, what have you done? Essentially, that the men would not have eventually done. So I understand as far as matriarchy and patriarchy, that again is a neo-Neanderthal psychology, because since he does not understand compatibility and working the understanding and understanding the relationship between male and female, he has to dominate. He does not have the necessary dark matter material to understand the compatibility between the masculine and the feminine being an aspect of the one most high, two aspects of the one most high. And so he must dominate. He must constantly be in charge. He must be completely overtly dominant. And what has happened is the war between he and his woman is what bled over into the psyche of our women. When women were talking feminism, it had nothing to do with us. That was a war between them. That was a war between her and her man. So what did they do? Well, they said, well, you know what? We need to have the Black woman, that foundation in the home. We need to get her on our side. How do we do that? Well, let's go after the people who are the most prominent in their community. And they got to Coretta Scott King. And they got to Malcolm's wife. Both of them joined the Boule. So what are we going to do from that point forward, since we don't have any sisters, any elder women, except the ones in our community that's holding it down? And today, the older women are trying to get what the younger women have, because in this particular society, the society has gotten so screwed with the last 3 generations of women. Those in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are now trying to roll back the hands of time and going after the same kind of relationships that young women are.
Yep.
You see, so what we have right now, as far as matriarchy and patriarchy, what we are looking at are the remnants and the ruins of people who actually assumed those two mantles. Women who thought they were the matriarchy and men who thought they were the patriarchy. All we did was completely cancel each other out. And when that canceled out, what we have are the rubble that our children are sifting through. And that rubble essentially is just showing them that they have to do their own surviving by themselves. There's no more community. There's no more going to grandma, because grandma no longer lives in the home with them. Grandma's out there with her short, skirts, trying to do what you're doing as a granddaughter. So until we understand what it is to be in a family and to be understanding of what a woman's role is and what a man's role is, men have to be forged. That's the thing that we have to do. The young men have to be forged. You have to create leaders. You have to create good fathers, great leaders, good workers, good men, just reliable, honest, ethical, moral men. I mean, I'm not calling myself all that, because I was a stallion running the field my damn self. You learn, and you're doomed to repeat yourself if you don't stop and think about what it is that you're going to be doing in the future. So, I mean, we got men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s still walking around with their hat tacked, their cap turned towards the back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unless they're going to be, playing catchers for the Dodgers, or they try to get things, make things out of their eyes. That's for young people. That's the young boy. You're wearing their hat to the side. You got older men with their pants underneath their behinds. And what is that? That's to show you that we have been really, really screwed over by what has happened in our society. And when we deal with the arc of reality, we find out that that we've isolated ourselves from one another. And patriarchy and matriarchy are the scam. It was the scam that was pushed upon our women, and the one that we were made to feel guilty of because we wanted to assume the control and the command as we are supposed to have done as men. And now we're feeling guilty because every time somebody says patriarchy, we automatically back down because, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe we're too assertive. No, I'm not assertive enough. Mm-hmm. And you know that I really went after our sisters back in the day when I wrote The Wounded Womb because they could not be told anything. And then when I met up with Sister Shahrazad Ali, I love her to life. She and I teamed up together, and they hated us both.
Yes, sir.
What it is, you remember
yes,
it.
Sir.
And now they can't get enough of Mama Ali.
Yep. Yeah.
They're talking about her, she said it back then. And Dr. Valentine said this back then. Yeah, but it's too late.
Right.
What you gonna do? And like your boy Kevin Samuels, he didn't, he came along and just picked up the torch where we were talking about it. But then when he said winter was coming, nobody believed him. Guess what? Winter's here. And they just laid off 250,000 black women. 250,000 black women got laid off of their government, which is their pimp's job, which was the government. Mm-hmm. The government was their pimp, and they went for it. The education system was a deducation system, and it numbed them to their femininity. And they thought that, well, I got my PhD. Well, a PhD is the Doctor of Philosophy, and it's a German classification, and it was a male dominant. So you go to school and you get your first your bachelor's. Girl, you're not a bachelor because you're not a man. Then you went ahead and you went and got your master's. You're not a master. It was a masculine term. So now you're walking around saying, well, I got my bachelor's, I got my own house, I got my own car. What's wrong with me? You became the man that you were looking for. So I'm ranting again.
Brother, you're doing a good job as usual.
A lot of those words got energy signatures to them.
Say again, brother. What you gonna say?
A lot of those masculine nomenclature titles that they give women, as far as like bachelors, there's an energy signature that comes with it. So they actually become the word metaphysically.
Yeah, very good. And the thing is that the education system was masculine. The reason men went on and took on college degrees was to advance in the workforce. Because after the 8th grade, they did a test where they took an 8th grade examination and gave it to PhDs today, and they couldn't pass it. Wow. An 8th grade examination given back in the 1800s to black children was more insightful and had more information within those years than they gave to every one of these women that they give in the PhDs levels. And I have PhDs women coming to my school to find out what is it that they did not teach us. And that's, by the way, my next class in metaphysical psychology will begin on the 17th of January, 2026. For those of you who are interested,
Right.
just go to my website at uksnow.org, click where it says registration, fill it out, and put in MPSY1. That's the metaphysical psychology course. It's a 3-month course. We meet twice a month. There is homework. You must write in reference to what you know of the class that I taught, and you have to go out and to apply what you learned, and then get the feedback and report back to the class the next time. So we are definitely forging and teaching young people how to teach, how to speak, how to become aware of the language of the invisible realm. There is no language for the invisible realm. There's no language for cause. We can teach you the language for cause. Everything you're looking at in society today is an effect. All things that you're thinking, you're seeing, and describing are effects, but you can't define them. Describing something because you know the surface language is not defining the essence of it. And so our school teaches the essence of reality, the essence of what the invisible realm is, because all things come from the invisible realm to the visible.
Dr. Valentine, Brother Bdell, hold on one second. Thank you very much. Make sure y'all go to Dr. Valentine's website if you want to take his classes and his university. You've had the university for how long, Dr. Valentine?
Well, since 1985,
right.
I started in New York, and then from 2005, when we went up cyber,
right,
19 years, going on 20 years.
20 years. So make sure y'all go to uksnow.org, uksnow.org, support them and go and join the class. You got celebrities, all types of people. You probably won't even get to meet them. They all online, but you'll know that he's been teaching if you watch some of the people that are put, especially between. We just celebrated Bobby Hemmett's birthday on the 28th. Happy belated birthday to Bobby Hemmett. Of course, Dr. Sabi's birthday on the 26th. Happy belated birthday to Dr. Sabi. Two of them who are not, of course, one transition, one is not speaking. For both of you, I want to ask the question where in regards to the lessons of our elders of the past, those that might be alive and can't speak at this time, but those who have transitioned, what is it that their knowledge and wisdom have transcended and have become a part of the culture now through clips and videos and all of that? Because back in the day, they would call us crazy for believing in the stuff that Dr. Valentine taught us, Dr. Blair taught us, Bobby Hemmett taught us, Suzar, people like Joe Pukram. They would thought we was crazy back in those days, and I'm going to go to Bdell because Bdell was watching everybody. Dr. York, even when he was doing his thing before he went into prison, Supermax prison for 135 years, whatever that is something it's definitely something to silence somebody that was teaching his way and providing certain knowledge and wisdom for the streets back in the day. Why is it transcending now into social media more than ever? And what do you think the outcome will be if people getting these clips and not getting the full context of what Dr. Blair and all the rest of the great ones have shared? I'm gonna start with you, Bdell. Please talk about that real quick.
Well, it's one of those things where, the planet has to go through an evolutionary process because it's a form of spiritual metamorphosis. So as I was saying, we in that time of what they call the tribulation period. So we're going through a culmination process to where new information, where ancient information has to come back to the planet. And we're going through that time period right now. Like I said, the planet was entrapped by the Alpha Draconis star system under the Piscean age of darkness, Aries, and Taurus. That was cultivated by the clay age, which was controlled by the age of mankind. So now we're going into the age where, where we get into the methodology in the Nuwaubian nation. They talk about the 6,000 years being up. So we're actually in that time period right now. So that's why I was saying, the information that was taught by the elders, it has to, it basically has to resurface, through social media. It doesn't matter if they, if they're not understanding the information intuitively so much to the point where they're not able to process the information and then get edification back to the masses. It's one of those things where the vibration has to raise up. That's how the planet raises up into a different degree. So that's why I was saying this as far as like the harmonic convergence, the 144,000, it's a frequency that is cultivated by mind science technology. So that's why I was saying, I remember the Bible, he was talking about the neuroendocrine transducer. So that's why I get into human consciousness in itself has the ability to manipulate physical matter. So it doesn't matter if the people are just watching things that don't make sense to them. It's one of those things where the energy of them wanting to be intuitive enough to understand the information, that's what's going to raise up the vibration in itself. So that's why I was saying, like, you know, the information that was taught by the elders, it has to resurface. Everything operates on the cyclum of a cycle within the simulation. So what goes around comes around. So we're in the time period where the meek is going to inherit the earth by way of consciousness.
Yeah, excellent. Let me just dovetail off of that. That's so I mean, you hit it on there. The neophyte, you hit it on there. You said something very profound when you talked about Alpha Draconis. And in our school, we teach that there are three main star systems that run the planet at this point. You have the Bear constellation, you have the Scorpius, and you have Alpha Draconis. Now, if you look at the three main, very, very strong, high, I mean, you talk about the predominant countries that have power now militaristically. What are their symbols? What are the symbols that they use to manifest or to represent themselves? You look at the United States of America and you see that they deal with the Scorpius because they moved their election cycle from June and they pushed it back to the time of Scorpio. And if you look at Scorpio, Scorpio is three different aspects in one. It's the scorpion, it's the eagle, and it's not only the eagle and the scorpion, but it's also the phoenix. Okay, so now what's the Russian symbol?
The bear.
The bear constellation. And there you have it. And what's the Chinese symbol?
The dragon.
The dragon. So as you're saying, Alpha Draconis, the bear constellation, and dealing with Scorpius or the eagle, you see that these are the three most influential star systems that are right now locking us down on a very militaristic and very heavily materialistic energy, but they have a component in it, which is the phoenix rising out of it. We are not being allowed to touch upon the phoenix, but the phoenix is going to burn through every resistance that they're putting up at this particular time. Because young people such as yourself and all the other young people out there are not, it doesn't mean about the black or white at this particular time, because they got these Europeans that are definitely saying, and the Asians are saying, listen, we know who the true Israelites are at this particular time that they're talking about. We know who the black man, they're even talking about this man. I don't know if you ever seen this one, and this is old because this is back when I was with, what's the name of the brother who got kidnapped by the aliens and so forth. Riley Martin.
Say again?
Riley Martin.
Riley Martin, okay.
Remember when Riley Martin used to come down to our thing? But this guy was saying that he said that a mile-long ship landed at one of the isolated air bases, military air bases, a mile long. And out of both sides of the ship, these two energies came out. These men filtered out. About 300 men came out of this mile-long ship and surrounded it with weapons that they never saw before in their lives. Dude came down, and when they came out to meet this dude pulled off his helmet, and it was a black man. It was a black man. And he said, listen, we see what you're doing. You're messing around, doing all this type of stuff. We don't care anything about what you're doing. Just don't mess with us. If you mess with us, we're going to come and destroy you. We'll start all over again because we've had many times. You all better start to grow spiritually. You better start growing. They put it out there, and it scared the hell out of them that they saw there was nothing but these black folks. Why you think that they coming after their own? Why you think they're only wiping out their own? They're trying to get at their own. They're stopping the messing with black folks now. They're either imitating them, leaving them alone. But you see, there's a few that they're stragglers. There's a few stragglers who don't get it yet. But understand and know that you're already on purpose just by what and who you are. Who you are, you've already been molded into believing that. You're not that. What you are is what's more important. You are a divine spark. And that divine spark is being amplified. It's beginning to glow in the chest of a whole lot of young people. And they're saying, you know what? With this light that's coming out of me at this point, ain't nothing look real. Ain't nothing look like it's supposed to. By the time I get to work and I start to rectify stuff, and what you're doing, they're going back to the elders and they're looking at the elders and saying, what did they have to say? And they're upgrading all the things the elders are, and they're taking the AI and they're putting it together, and they're making all kinds of cartoons and real life this and that. And you got young boys like Dane Calloway coming out and telling us that we were the indigenous. Hey, all of this is old news, but it's new now because the young people are picking it up and making it their own. They're making it their own now, which is what we were always asking. You know that, King Simon?
Yes,
always ask them to make it your own. It's a difficult part to come in there and say, I could stand on a soapbox and talk about it, or either that or become it. You got to become it first before you can teach it. Otherwise, all you're doing is cutting and pasting.
That's right.
All you're doing is cutting and pasting, and that is shallow, and it dies out very quickly. But you're working like you are, brother, and you're putting the energy out there. Nobody forgets that. It becomes part of their being. They begin to feel and see it. And that's what happens when you get your university together. Pull your children out of the school system, because that is a deducation system. It's a fool system. It is to make sure that you are dysfunctional so that you can fit into the society they created based in dysfunction. All right? So, first of all, big ups to you, Brother King Simon, for what it is that you've been doing for a long period of time.
Thank you, brother.
I can't ever not give you props for actually having this platform to do what you're doing and to have the courage to be able to say what you need to say and to bring the people on to say what has to be said. And there's not enough people that's actually paying attention yet. But as times get more desperate, you're going to see them come flooding back into what it is you have to say and what you represent. And that goes for you too, young King.
Appreciate
you. You know, stay strong, but stay in your resolve. Don't back down. Once you know the truth and what it is, fight for it. You know, fight against whatever it is for that truth. Because remember, there's 3 stages to truth, they say. First of all, it comes in there and it's ridiculed. They laugh at you.
Right.
Second, they attack you. And then the third, what happens? It becomes a matter-of-fact reality, like it's always been there. So fight through it. Get to that 3rd stage, like I've had to do many times. And then you'll know that you are doing the right thing, because every time the truth is seasonal. It comes and then it goes back, and then comes and goes back. And the more it repeats itself, the more you know it's the truth.
Yes.
And when the thing about truth is it fits so perfectly in reality.
Yeah.
If reality and the truth don't come together, then it ain't the truth. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the reality and truth, and the truth and reality.
Baba and Bdell, on that note, we're going to switch over to the next link. We're going to sign off of this. Okay. And y'all, I gave y'all a red link on the bottom of in your email. That's the link we're coming up on next. I just want to let the family know. I want to thank these 2 people for coming on public. This is the public one, but we're going to do the private one on the membership on YouTube right now. I put it in the chat. I pinned it to the top. If you want to join my membership right now, I'm going to have people. I'm going to put the link so y'all can talk to them directly. Come up and talk to them and ask them questions about anything they said from the past even on what's happening on now. Family, please just link up. Hold on, let me put myself in front here. Let me put myself on Front Street. Please come to the YouTube membership. I'm going to throw it in the chat again so y'all can get it right now. Let me throw it in the chat again so y'all can get it right now. And family, do me a favor, either join the Patreon or the YouTube. It's better to join the YouTube membership right now because it's for all members. Big up to New Diamonds, all my members already that's all joining in and coming in. I want people to come up and ask the question. So I'm going to share the link in the next. So we'll be right back after this on another link, and that's going to be on membership only. Any closing word for you two first? Bdell, close. Just because Dr. Valentine is out. Bdell, close out real quick. Any closing word before they go? Or you want to wait till we go to the membership? You want to go to the membership? You ready?
Everybody just pull up to the membership. Like I said, we're going to get out the question, so pull up.
That's my dude. My brother, thank you very much. Let's close out, my brother. I'll see you in the next side on the next link, okay? Thank you very much. All right, that's right. We get ready to go to the next link. Family, I'm getting ready to go to the next link. Yo, come on the membership. Come on the membership. Join the membership. Join the membership. Join the membership. Join the membership right now. Private. I'm going to share that link so y'all can come up and talk to our Baba and our young soldier. All right. So I'll see y'all next side on the next side. Peace and love. I'll see y'all on the next slide. Let me close out with some music. You know, I got to close out with music. Stop playing. You know, we got to close out with some music. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Let me give me this music right here. Some Afro beat real quick. Boom. All right, boom, boom, boom. Stop playing with my Afro beats. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Let's close out. Come on now, what y'all doing? All right, let me get that out of there, and let's go here and get ready to go to the next side here. There it is. Boom. See y'all on the next side.